Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another game review. I'm your host, Twisted Games, and next up, we have Persona 5 Tactica, a game developed by Atlus and published by Square Enix. So, if you guys do enjoy this type of videos, give this video a like, comment, and subscribe to check out more content. Now, I did a live stream playthrough, so you guys wanted to take a look at the playthrough, I'll put a description below. And the music here is from Persona 5 Tactica itself, so if you guys do enjoy music, go ahead and look at YouTube and go through that way and look it up yourselves. But now, how the game is, we're going to talk about how the game is, the plot, the combat, the pros and cons, and what I will do at the very end to give a final score of the game. So now, we're going to start off with the main plot. What is the main plot of Persona 5 Tactica? Well, this game takes place after Persona 5. Now, it is quite unsure if this will take place on Persona 5 Royal or as their base game of Persona 5 because the game really doesn't acknowledge Maruki or Kasumi at all in this part of the game. So you just know that events happen after Persona 5. But anyways, the whole time Phantom Thieves group is watching a news report in Little Block, and basically the news report goes and says Toshiro Kasukabe, he's a politician who's running to be the next prime minister, the youngest prime minister ever. I mean, he's part of Diet member. And basically, he's gone missing. And this is the news report. And soon during this news report, sometime after, everything around them changes. The TV stops working. You don't know what's going on afterwards. And so, it is finally discovered you are in the metaverse. And it's not a spoiler because the whole entire game is in the metaverse. Persona 5's whole entire thing is in the metaverse. So it's not spoilers. But basically you walk outside, you're in a combat suit, you meet the leader of the kingdom they say. And at that point you meet Erina, who is a person that lives in that kingdom and wants to spark a revolution inside that specific kingdom. Later on, you actually meet that missing politician Toshiro. And so basically from your plot of this game is you're trying to get yourself and Toshiro back to the real world. And that's what the whole game is now there are twists and turns within the game. So there is a lot of things that happen between when it first starts off in the game and when the game ends. And so what does the game actually contain? What type of combat? What type of gameplay? Stuff like that. So the main course of this game is tactical combat, tactical RPG. So what is that? So basically, you have a certain amount of people out on the field with specific squares, and based on your character, you can move a certain amount of squares. And when you move to a square, you can either attack, use a gun, or use a skill. Now, in order to use the attack, you have to be literally right next to them in order to use the attack. And good thing with the attack is you can go right next to them, and if they're right behind cover, you can get them out of cover, and then someone else after them can hit them afterwards. Or you can do a follow up, like you're on a higher floor, they're at like an edge or close to the edge, you can knock them down, and then they can, and when they fall, they get like the follow up part, and that's how they get extra bonus on your movement and stuff like that. As a knockback, I knock them back into an opponent, into the wall. You're basically trying to knock them like a gun. Each gun is used based on range and effectiveness. So that is a gunpowder, and a skill is whatever skills your main persona has or any other persona is equipped along with you. So for instance, Joker has Arsene, therefore he would just use all the dark magic. The An, who has Carmen, she would use Aji and fire spells. So that's what each player had. Everyone has HP and everyone has SP. And each character along with that will give you a certain buff, like Joker and Yusuke will up your gun damage. Morgana SP will increase your SP. Ryuji and Haru will give you a HP like Makoto, they're gonna give you a melee buff, something like that. And not all correct, I know, but that's the most important in my head that it's correct. They give you a buff inside the game, so do more damage, have more SP and stuff like that. Along with the combat, let's say you get them with a crit or they're not in a like cover and you hit them, that's where you get a one mark, which allows you to move further down, and that can lead that you can either attack someone else to ignore them or do an all out. So the all out is a little bit different from regular Persona 5 because how all out works is you have your three people, so you have to accordingly put these three people in a certain way. If you put them a certain way, everyone's inside a little like, triangle based move will get hit. And most of the time when you put them inside this triangle base, they'll get knocked out. And if you get little buffs here and there, like you get more HP back, SP back, stuff like that. That's what your all out move is. Or like I guess that you can attack, or that person also can be crit or get hit while not being, gives you one extra move on whether or not in position to be blocked in a position. You can go ahead and hit them, and then move out more and get more people inside that little triangle area. Now, there is a baton pass. And so how baton pass works is this game is different from another game. So in regular Persona 5, you can do baton pass whenever you want if you upgrade the Shogi player up to her max stat, or in Joker's turn, you can swap them inside and out. This game, you only can use a baton pass if one of the characters you have on the field dies, essentially just dies, or gets knocked out, KO'd. That's the only time you use baton pass. And in the game, you can only, your max allow you a baton pass in one fight is up to 3 times. So if you use your 3 baton passes, you keep on going until your what are your 3 left down the field? That's all 3 left down the field, and then if they all die, you lose. So that is a baton pass. And then there are skill trees. Each character has a skill tree that upgrades their main skills. So like I said, Joker has Arsene the whole game. So therefore he will upgrade his dark abilities on, use their fire abilities, Haru side abilities now. And each ability has a unique thing. So like Haru's, her magic, her side ability, actually grabs people and pulls them closer to her. Like Yusuke, he has his ice one, and he hits people with it, they become frozen, therefore they can't move. And certain enemies, you want them to not move in order for you to have your hands of like beating them later on in the game, inside that level. You know, so everyone has specific skill trees, and how the greatest skill trees is called GP, which is basically like your points and crew inside the fights, the side quests, and or hideout talks. And speaking of side quests are specifically used for specific people inside your party. So like for instance, there's to be a side quest, oh, Joker Arena has to go out. Oh, by the way, you have to beat these certain amount of enemies on one turn. No matter what, both Joker and Arena has to be inside that side quest. One and the third person that's out there, give me anyone you want, but they have to be, they have to be together. You have to play and stuff like that. So, and by the time you win, you get your 20 GP. Helps increase more of those times. It helps you increase your abilities, your skills. And other times, it gives you a random persona. Of course, if you already have it, it doesn't matter. You don't get anything new. If you don't have it, it gives you a persona. And then the last 3 side quests in the game actually unlocks your ultimate ability. So there's that. Also, if you complete all the side quests in a certain kingdom, you actually are allowed to get a spell, the fusion recipe per se, to unlock certain people. So like Seth is one of them, and stuff like that. That's just an example. Also, you can buy weapons or you can build weapons inside the Velvet Room. And the Velvet Room is a little bit different this time. Like I said, you can build your guns. So it'll say, oh, you need these 2 personas that are that high level. Okay, you have them. Oh, you don't have in your party? Well, you go ahead and get a personal compendium and then use that as your fusion tool. And then you make that tool. And you want to use those guns because they can give you like an ability. attached to it. So like Morgana, for instance, wind ability allows you to push those people like away from you. So if you have the like a gun that has a wind to it, you shoot it, and then it wipes people, puts people further down, and gets them out of action. So good thing. Fusing personas are still here. Combine one and one together. It's still there. You got the multiple fusions of the more specifically like the Seth, Nico Shogun, Bug, like those example. Like you need specific ones to make it, and that's really two only fusions you can really do. Other fusions don't really exist, so you can't do a triple threat fusion, stuff like that. You just can't do it. But per storyline inside the game, your character Joker cannot have multiple personas inside his thing, inside his self. So, like I said, he'll always have our son. It's very important because you're like, well, what's the point of fusing personas? Each of your party members will be able to have an additional persona that allows to have them that additional skills. So, for instance, like this one person has electric and healing ability. I can go then. Oh, I can give that to Yusuke, and so now Yusuke will have the electric and healing. So he's out there on the field. You go ahead and hit people with electric, ice, and heal people if you need to. That's something that helps along with the game. Last but not least, the hideout talks. These are important too. If you want to get a trophy for it. 2, if you do the hideout talks, you go ahead and you get GP. Usually like 3 at the last. You can even get 6, and it helps you like increase your skills, stuff like that. And that's really all the gameplay inside the game, what you'll do throughout the whole game from Kingdom 1 to the end of the game. Now, some positive and negative with the game. First positive. It is very easy to play. I think if you're a person who don't really play tactical RPGs, this is a simple, easy game for you to get into, and they won't really struggle much with it. So I think for new players to tactical RPGs, it's very simple for them to get into. Turns and twists. I like these turns and twists inside the game. Keep you going. Stuff like that. So like everything that happens to your party in Toshiro, whatever specifically Toshiro, it happens to them. So it's good for them to get in that direction. I think the art direction is very good. At first I thought, maybe I'm not really feeling the art characters. Some art characters could be better, but I do like the art direction it actually goes for. It's mostly 2D. I always do combat and other cutscenes, but other than that, it's mostly like a 2D gameplay. 2D like scenes and stuff like that. Rewarding gameplay, especially the side quests, because some of the side quests are really hard. Well, you have to go from one end to the other, but by the way, you have to kill all enemies all in one turn. So if you're able to like figure out yourself, it's a rewarding gameplay. So that's what it does. It is on more difficult areas. It is rewarding for you to beat these difficult areas. Game wise, it took me about 30 hours of gameplay. Now there are some quests, some main missions I kind of struggle with. So really, if I minus those two things, like those two specific ones, I can probably say like somewhere between 25 to 28, depending on how fast you get through it. I think that's good money value for a $70 game, stuff like that. I think music is really good. Like it says, it's Persona 5 Tactica music in the background. So like I said, if you like it, go ahead on YouTube, look up the stuff, other soundtrack. A lot of stuff is remixed, but other times it's not. So there's some fresh music, some remix music, stuff like that. And in that regard, that is all the pros. No, we're talking about the cons of the game. These two are combined one again. I said the story and twists and turns are good, but I think there's a lot of story is a lot of meh. There's a lot of times in the story, like with Toshiro. Essentially, this is also going to be a spoiler alert. You guys can disagree with me, spoilers, but this has to be said. Spoiler: Toshiro is the main character of the game. Like I said, he's the main character. Your Phantom Thieves teammates, your whole crew, you guys are basically side characters the whole game. And I think with the how the team goes and how like the franchise is, the main characters are always Persona 5 Phantom Thieves. Always Phantom Thieves. So because Toshiro is basically the main character, a lot of time he's actually like a poor main character because he does the same thing in each kingdom. Oh, I'm so weak. I can't do anything. Oh, I'll come with an idea that actually works out. Oh, wait, next kingdom does the same thing. Oh, I figured something out. Oh, third kingdom. Oh, same thing. I'm weak. I can't do anything. You know, it's like the same thing over and over again. And so much you can do the same thing. Now, the third kingdom actually changes up a little bit because I said Toshiro's the main character. So a lot of things, information about this whole entire game is about Toshiro. And along with it, your fantasies, there's no reason for you to to exist in the game. Nothing really happens in fantasies. Like, what does Toshiro in big picture? Yes, he, as a prime minister, like he himself is not a bad person. He really isn't. There's the people around him are bad people. Like, that's just part of the story. People around him are bad. He's not a bad person. Nothing really affects. I guess you put like big rant macro sense of like, oh, if Toshiro gets controlled by this person and that person, it's bad for the whole entire country, Japan, and stuff like that. Well, I say that is Toshiro can stay in the metaverse forever. He can stay missing forever and doesn't affect anyone at all. It just doesn't. Because let's say he comes back as the election prime minister, and guess what? Toshiro misses it. So they just elect a new prime minister. There's no risk of not leaving Toshiro. So that's why, to me, that part of the story doesn't make, to me, I'm like, why do I care? Toshiro is a poor main character. And then, along with combat, I talk about side quests. Some side quests can be really annoying, especially ones you have to beat everyone on the first turn. And sometimes you're just like, why is it taking so long? Sometimes you need different personas on it. It's basically some of the side quests are trial and error gameplay. And if you're like a casual person playing these kind of games, I don't know why would you like figure some stuff out for yourself? You'll look it up. You'll constantly look up some of the ways, the like one specific way you would do it. And a lot of times the side quests, it only can be done in one specific way. It feels like to me. Like when I'm doing when I'm talking about Arena and Joker, you have to go from one side of the map to the other side in order to get like there's a second Arena's cut off, so she literally can't move unless she's moving up and down like a floor. Joker is the only one who can move all the way down, and Morgana is stuck in his little area too, just like how Aaron is. So if you're going by that direction, like it's unless you looked up, and I had to look it up. I was not spending an hour on it trying to figure out what to do. It's very annoying. I don't know how about casual people playing this game would want to experience that. So that's really wrong. That's really bad. With the main missions, they can be too easy. And what do you mean by that? Well, the main missions, how it's set up is you either defeat all the enemies. Like, it doesn't matter how many turns you do it, you can do it all turns. Sometimes you have to beat certain enemies amount of turns. Sometimes you have to just survive the outlast of the enemies for a specific amount of turns. Sometimes you have to go from point A to point B in a certain amount of turns. And I'm pretty sure there's one or two more like things to do in terms of the main mission, but that's basically the main mission. And you get rewards to do stuff in certain amount of times. Or at the end of the trophy, you get all max reward, just do everything. But yeah, that's not. But if you don't care about getting all the rewards, you can just breeze through by this game. You know, you can just go ahead like, oh, head first. Okay, well, that doesn't suck. That sucked. Well, I can bring someone else new to come in. And I never really wiped out. The only time I actually like, physically lost, and it's like my fault for not reading correctly. But there's like one area that you have to like win in a certain amount of time. a certain amount of turns, and I thought that I had unlimited amount of turns. I just didn't do it in a certain amount of turns. I'm like, oh crap. Well, it was my fault. And then the next time around, I just blasted through more quickly, and I beat all. And I got all the rewards. So it's that. For some reason, menus has some frame rate issues. Like, I'll just would go and like click one, like go one area over here and click one, try to go there. And the frame would just drop it, and you can just see like not touch anything, and you see like the game just like losing frames, and like why? That's like the least thing there is to do, and the only thing good about it is that this is not really like a shooter or anything, so like frames isn't that great. But I'm gonna go through the menu, and maybe I accidentally clicked something wrong. That's the game's fault. Good thing I didn't have that. So the frame rate is pretty bad, in the menus specifically. And then the last cons I had about this game is that the bosses end abruptly. Wait, what do you mean by that? Well, specifically in the first and second kingdom, it's more like in second kingdom. You're being a boss. First kingdom, the first kingdom boss does something. You got her all the way down, and she got all her health back, and then you can't do damage, and then Tosha figures out an idea what to do, and because because an idea, that's how we lose. She didn't lose all her health, by the way, because the specifically he did stopped her. It's over, and I'm just like, I didn't do anything. You as a person playing the game didn't do anything. So we get her into the specific spot. So I feel that was a bad thing. And second one, it's a 3-stage boss. And then when you get to the third thing, maybe you just started doing it. Oh, there's a cutscene. You legitimately don't beat the boss. Cutscene happens, and you tell the second boss go away. He goes away. It's like, what? I don't understand why that is acceptable gameplay. I don't understand that. And I'm just like, what? Good thing they rectified it in the third kingdom, where you actually do something in order to beat the boss, and you rectify it again in the fourth kingdom. But that is asinine. Completely asinine stuff. And then also, I'm adding on con. I didn't write this down, but it just popped in my head. The main villain of the game, in terms of aesthetics and stuff like that and ideals, it's almost exactly the same as the Persona 5 villain in Yadabath. It's almost exactly the same. What do you mean? I think I like how he looks, how his goals is. The only difference between the two itself is how they do things. Like Yadabath does the brainwash, the boss, the villain in this game, I'm not gonna spoil. I think it's cool how he does it, but he's basically the same guy. He looked exactly the same. I'm like, you are Yadabath. Like, you look exactly like him. So for his second stage, it does something and it makes him a little bit different. But other than that, he's exactly Yadabath. So, in my regards to that, I didn't like that one. I didn't like how the main villain looks exactly the same as the original Persona 5 boss. I just didn't like it. So, when it comes to those pros, cons, gameplay, and everything together, what's the overall feeling of the game? If you enjoy tactical RPGs and you like the lore of the game, of Persona 5 in general, and you want your fix of Persona until Persona 3 Reload, there's nothing I can say to you for you to buy it. If you want it that much. But if you're a person that is skeptical about this and you want your money for your value, and you want like new stuff in it, I don't know how much more you would like this game. Essentially, it is a fun game, but you can skip this game and watch a playthrough of it. Not just that, it doesn't, like I said, it does not affect what happened to Phantom Thieves. It just legitimately just doesn't. And so, realistically, you cannot play this game, and you can go on wiki and stuff like that, and if they don't add anything about like the events that happen in this game, you didn't miss anything. So that's my like biggest weaknesses on here. A lot of stuff just does not matter at all. This game does not matter to the Phantom Thieves. They're just there. Toshiro is the main character who's poor and weak. The story doesn't really pick up until like part way end of the second kingdom, into the third kingdom. Like nothing really like picks up, and unfortunately, it is a miss. This game is a miss. So my final score of this game, it's a 6.5 out of 10. I cannot give this game a 7. It's objectively not a bad game either. It's a somewhat like above average grade per se. It's like a C, C plus, how you want to go in there. But you can skip this game and not miss anything. Like, you know? And another thing too, apparently, I believe there is a DLC for this game that came out day one. Along with this game, you have to separately buy for $30, I think. And that's a damn shame. That DLC should be part of the game. You're gonna say why? Because if like you do all the side quests, you get all the missions until you face the main guy. Problem is you don't get to the max level. The max I got to was 79, and that's part of it because cover personas allow me to grant more experience. That's it. Other than that, I cannot get to 99. I cannot unlock all the personas. Therefore, if you're doing a first playthrough, you have to get that DLC. And I'm against that practice by buying day one DLC when it should be in the game. So, it's a 6.5 out of 10. It's their game. It's just there. I mean, the value, how long you play is good, but the story's not there. The combat can only hold up so much. The twin screens hold up so much, and unfortunately, you listen to Toshiro too much. That's the review. Thank you guys for watching. Thank you guys for listening. More importantly, hopefully, I see you guys in the next review. Until then, I see you guys in the next video. Peace.